And we have some breaking news just in from Wisconsin where this trial is happening. The jury has reached a verdict. We've stopped the jury deliberation clock at 1 hour and 46 minutes. This jury made up of 7 men and 5 women has come to a unanimous decision in the case against defendant Sean Pickett, accused of murdering his mother and killing their family dog. We are awaiting the reading of that verdict. We don't know what it is right now, but we know that everyone is being summoned back into the courtroom. Our cameras are in place, and as soon as we can take you there live, we will. I'm going to bring in my guest now, Sergeant Melissa Pinkleton. She is joining me from Nashville, Tennessee, and we've kindly asked the good sergeant to take a look at that interrogation video. That was just a portion of it, but you could get a sense of things, how the questioning went and how the defendant's answers went as well. Sergeant, tell us, please, what jumped out at you? What did you like? What didn't you like about the questioning by law enforcement? And what were you able to glean from this defendant's answers, please?
Well, questioning a defendant of this nature is really, really tricky because there's already a mental faculty there. He's got some sort of a mental issue. He even mentions that himself. And what I liked was that the investigator was taking his time. You could see it. The investigator was clearly well aware of the mental deficiency as well. So he was taking his time. And so when he couldn't get him to answer, well, what did you do to your mother? He switched it up a little bit. He said, well, where were you in the room when this happened? And I really, really like that because the defense can't come then and say, well, you were feeding him the answer. You were feeding, he didn't go, well, you were standing here in the room. Don't you remember that? And that's what you did to your mom. And they didn't do that. And that's the kind of investigator that you want on these types of cases. One that's not feeding information to the suspect and one that is moving in different directions and asking questions in different ways to solicit the information from the suspect that will match the crime scene.
Exactly. Yeah, he did a fine job there talking with him, eliciting that information. And as the state so eloquently pointed out in closing arguments today, they made a point to say how, this was story number 2 that he told. Story number 1 was he tried to blame it on mom's boyfriend. And then we know story number 3 was the one the jury heard yesterday. And I'm being told that everyone is in the courtroom right now. They're all ready to go and ready to hear this verdict. Let's listen in together live.
Is that true, sir? Yes, Your Honor. Anything before we bring the jury out?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
No. Thank you.
Bring them out.
Everyone on their feet indicates that the members of the jury are walking into the courtroom ready to take their positions in the jury box. We've got 2 counts here. First-degree intentional homicide in the mistreatment of animals resulting in death. Count 1, if convicted, carries a potential penalty of life in prison. Count 2 carries a potential penalty of up to 3 years, 6 months, plus a fine. This defendant has been incarcerated since that day that we saw him taken in by police, the day that his mother and his dog were killed by him. We're going back just about a year in 2019, May of 2019, sometime between May 9th and May 10th was when the killings occurred. And Sean Pickett has had this same expression on his face this entire time, even when those brutal autopsy photos were being displayed for the jury. He did not react. We'll see if the jury believes his version of events or the version.
Yes, sir. Has the jury reached a verdict, sir? We have, Your Honor. Hand the paperwork to the bailiff, please. You may be seated. The verdicts are 2 guilty verdicts, a first-degree intentional homicide and a mistreatment of animals. The clerk will officially read the verdicts into the record.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Sean R. Pickett, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated the 7th day of July, 2022. Second verdict, we, the jury, find the defendant, Sean R. Pickett, guilty of mistreatment of animals as charged in count 2 of the information. Did treating the animal in a cruel manner result in the death of the animal? Yes, dated the 7th day of July, 2022.
Members of the jury, if that is your verdict, please raise your hand. There are 12 hands raised. Attorney Erickson, do you wish any individual polling?
No.
Does the state wish any individual polling?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Pickett, individual polling is a process whereby I can ask each juror if that is their verdict. They're not going to explain their reasoning. They'll just say yes or no. Do you need me to do that, or is it fine that they all raise their hand at once?
If you could individually, that'd be...
Sure. With that then, members of the jury, your service is complete. With the thanks of the parties and the thanks of the court, you are excused. You are now free to talk about the case with anyone in any manner as much as you want. You're also free to not talk about the case. It's totally up to you. I understand maybe Court TV has a letter for each of you that invites you to, talk to them about it in some fashion. They are not going to put any pressure on you. If you don't want to, you'll never hear from them again. If you want to, that's your option. Just thought I would let you know that. Thank you. You've been a very attentive jury. I hope you found it at least kind of an interesting experience as I tried to persuade you at the beginning. You're excused. Good luck.
All right.
The clerk tells me that you will not be invited back for the July 26th trial if there is one, so this completes your service.
There we have it. Sean Pickett has been found guilty on all of the charges brought against him by the state of Wisconsin. Guilty of murdering his mother, Susan Pickett. Guilty of killing his dog, Chico. Let's listen.
Of conviction on the verdicts, Your Honor.
Attorney Erickson.
I would object and waive any argument.
The verdicts are supported by the evidence. I will enter judgments of conviction consistent with the verdicts. We'll set, I presume, a date for sentencing in the future?
Yes, Your Honor. On that subject, I'm taking the bench August 1st. My last day where I'll be in the office here would be likely July 26th.
Is there a request for a pre-sentence investigation report?
Yes.
All right, one will be ordered. That means probably, Attorney Allen, you won't be the prosecutor at the time of sentencing, but that's the way things go. We will set sentencing then about 60 days down the line. I'll have my assistant give me a date. Are you reaching out, Nicole?
60 days.
Roughly. Thank you. I'm thinking an hour.
I think that should be adequate, Judge.
Sure.
Okay. September 20, September 21 in the afternoon is proposed.
Judge, can you try the 21st?
Clerk prefers the 21st, which is a Wednesday afternoon.
Mr. Holmes would prefer the 20th if possible. Well,
Who knows?
that should be fine. I hate to commit someone to it, but we'll certainly have someone in office by then, so I don't think that should be a problem.
Either day, I don't have anything. Whatever works.
All right. Did you say the end of the day, Attorney Erickson?
Either day.
Oh, either day.
Anything works.
She's also now proposing September 15th.
She's proposing September 15th, if that would be better for anybody.
What's that?
September 20, in the afternoon, 3 o'clock.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, which o'clock?
3.
Oh, very good.
Sentencing, 3 p.m., September 2022. Anything further from state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
From the defense?
No, thanks.
Matters adjourned. See everybody in September. Court's in recess.
Let's watch the defendant a little more here. He keeps shaking his head. You wonder, is he surprised he was convicted of these heinous crimes? I think what's surprising is he didn't shed a tear throughout this whole thing. Even if it went the way he claims it went, even if he had to kill his 84-pound, 54-year-old mother, even if he had to kill his dog, or if the mother already killed the dog, whichever the case may be, you think he might be upset? He might miss them? I mean, after all, it is his mother. It was his dog. He doesn't look the least bit upset, maybe upset that he was convicted. And you see the representatives from the sheriff's department, all the good deputies that work in that courthouse, shackling him. The shackling of prisoners is something that members of the jury never get to see because we don't want them to have any bias or prejudice in their minds, thinking somebody's dangerous because they're locked up. And so they can always just have the appearance of being a free individual when they're before the jury, of course, cloaked in the presumption of innocence, as our country's Constitution provides, unless and until you see what happened today. The state of Wisconsin proving Sean Pickett guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of those crimes, the intentional homicide in the first degree and the mistreatment of animals resulting in death. Back to jail he goes. He'll be sentenced on